When you look into the sky, what is it that you see? Do you see an endless cascading blanket of stars covering the sky? Or do you see a universe that is teeming with life? Throughout the documentary, we'll be covering different aspects regarding Planet X and the Anunnaki. Also, we'll be answering questions that nobody else knows the answer of regarding this subject matter. If we discovered extraterrestrial life on other planets, what impact do you think it would have on Earth?
I think it'd have a major impact on science and religion.
Right, why is that? Why do you think it'd have an impact on science and religion?
Well, it would just throw everything they believe out the window. For religion.
Is it because they believe that we're the only life in the universe?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. If we discovered life on other planets, what impact do you think it would have on the world?
It'd be amazing, because then we'd have new life forms!
If we discovered life on other planets, what impact do you think it'd have on planet Earth?
A lot. It probably could get destroyed.
In terms of, how would it impact Earth then? Society, religion?
Religion, it probably could. We could be worshipping the wrong.
Right. Thank you. Do you think that there is alien life out there in the universe?
Yeah, I do believe that there's life in the universe, because I reckon out of all the billions of galaxies out there, I don't believe that we're the only life in the universe.
What impact do you think it would have on us as humans and as a society if we did discover life on different planets?
I reckon the biggest impact it'd have is basically religion, because they believe in the gods and stuff, and they created things and stuff like that, and we're created in one's image. I reckon we're just generally what the universe created us as, and maybe if the impact would be is that religion will actually fall and crumble under this fact.
Because it'd make us look like an accident, wouldn't it? Just make life look like an accident. Will we ever get to meet some of these otherworldly civilizations in the future? Even though the discovery of life on other planets will be the greatest discovery in the history of mankind, maybe some past ancient civilizations on our own planet already know about our universal alien neighbours, and maybe, just maybe, they've had intimate and personal contact with them. Ancient Sumerian texts describe an ancient race of extraterrestrial beings called the Anunnaki from the planet Nibiru in the extensive pictograph text translated by Zachariah Sitchin, who is a Russian-born scholar, who is able to read and understand ancient Sumerian texts. These giant humanoids apparently form the chief founding extraterrestrial race, who are the gods described in ancient mythologies and religions. Their planet Nibiru, or Planet X as it's more commonly known, has an orbit of 3,600 years. When their planet periodically comes closest to our planet Earth, there apparently will be a wild card that concerns national security agencies that are unaware of how this race of extraterrestrials will impact on global humanity, and the military-industrial extraterrestrial complex that has been created to manage extraterrestrial affairs. The main activities of the Anunnaki are to influence the long-term human evolution through elite groups, systems and institutions, and by influencing human consciousness. The Anunnaki appear to be working alongside other alien races that form part of the Anunnaki Empire, which includes the Reptoids, the Nordics, called this due to their human looks, and the stereotypical grey aliens. The other races form a kind of planetary management team to harvest humanity in a way that serves the long-term interests of the Anunnaki, who return periodically to assess their human experiment. The experiment I speak of is this. Again, according to a modern look on these ancient Sumerian texts, around 5000 BC, Homo sapiens were genetically modified by the Anunnaki Empire. They first landed on where the river Euphrates meets the Persian Gulf. The reason is because in this area, a high concentration of what is known as monatomic gold is found in the seawater. This gold can apparently prolong your lifespan by hundreds of years and allow you to become super intelligent and even telepathic. For use as intelligent slaves, the Anunnaki took a man named Adamski and took away part of his rib, which includes an excellent source of DNA. This DNA was then modified for a better manipulation of the humans and implanted it into a woman named Mulva. Mulva and Adamski then had children who, just like their mother, were genetically modified. Shortly after this experiment was completed, the Anunnaki left. According to the world-famous Mayan calendar, 2012 will be a time when great cataclysmic events will happen to the world. According to the world-famous Mayan calendar, 2012 will be a time when great cataclysmic events will happen to the world. The exact date will be December the 21st, 2012. A New Age interpretation of this transition suggests the basis of truth regarding the 2012 myth as the start of a time in which Earth and its inhabitants may undergo a positive physical or spiritual transformation, and that 2012 may mark the beginning of a new era. Will this transformation relate to the Anunnaki influencing the long-term human evolution through elite group systems and institutions and by influencing human consciousness, which I was discussing earlier? Does Planet X indeed have a connection with the 2012 myth? Let's interview some professionals who will help contribute to the subject matter.
In your philosophical opinion, what do you think about the possibility of life on other planets?
Well, as a philosopher, I have to keep an open mind about these things, and I think there's no evidence against there being life on other planets, so just because you haven't discovered it doesn't mean it's not there.
Yeah. Do you think that they could have visited Earth in the past, and do you think there are possibilities that they could visit again in the future?
I'm a little bit more sceptical about that, because if they had visited Earth in the past, then we would have evidence. I mean, there's a big jump to make from life on other planets to sort of life that could visit Earth.
Yeah. Have you heard of the discovery of the apparent new planet, Planet X?
I've seen rumours online, but that's about it. I haven't seen any more than that.
And do you think it is actually a planet or just a conspiracy?
I think at the end of the day, scepticism is probably the best route to take in this one. I think it seems like people with a lot of overactive imaginations trying to describe things that aren't really there.
So do you think, in your opinion, philosophical and personal, if it was a planet, that there could possibly be life on that planet?
I think there is a possibility of life, but then you have to get into the question of what really counts as life. We could be talking about single-celled organisms here, or we could be talking about fully sort of complex aliens. It's a big jump to make to say from life to life with machines that can visit us.
Yeah. What do you think of the theory that the world will end in 2012?
Again, I think that's just people with overactive imaginations. There's not a lot of evidence that it's going to happen, I don't think.
But like, if you put into account all the other conspiracies and prophecies that Nostradamus predicted, and they were near enough accurate. So
I am not convinced that they were accurate, to be honest. I think that interpretations of Nostradamus really mean that there are a lot of different ways of looking at what he said, and you can read anything into what he said, really.
So would you say that you don't believe in Nostradamus and his predictions?
I don't, no.
Okay. And if a highly advanced race of extraterrestrial beings took over our planet, do you think that this would be beneficial to us, or would you say this would cause the untimely demise of the human race?
I think it would be a bit more complicated than positives or negatives, to be honest. For a start, I think we'd have to redefine what it was to be human, what it was to be a person. If we're suddenly coming into contact with new races, it's going to change our view of ethics, it's going to change our view of sort of what it is to be a person. But in the long run, I can see us becoming more connected to the rest of the universe, and that can only be a positive thing, I think.
Thank you.
As a professor of physics, what is your opinion on the possibility of life on other planets?
I wouldn't say no, that there is no possibility, but I would say the possibility is quite low. And if life did exist on another planet, then I don't think it will look like us, bipedal, 2 arms, 2 legs. It may be a form of life that we don't know what it looks like, basically. So, yeah.
Like bacteria.
It could be bacteria, but again, we recognize what bacteria are.
Mm.
So it could be a completely different form that we actually, can't identify and can't detect as life. So it's the possibilities are endless. So there may be life out there. Do we know it exists? We don't know. Can we detect them? We don't know. So lots of questions there to be answered.
Yes. Have you heard of Planet X or Planet Nibiru, according to ancient Sumerian?
No, I have not.
Well, Planet X is apparently part of our solar system, and it's got an orbit of 3,600 years.
Okay.
And in 2012, it's going to be venturing nearest to Earth. According to some conspiracy theorists, this could cause an Armageddon.
Well, if the planet did exist, I think we would have seen it on telescopes. Throughout history, different astrophysicists from Copernicus onwards have predicted the existence of certain planets based on their calculations. So planets such as Neptune and Uranus have all been predicted. So I don't think that this planet exists, but well, even if it did, we would have seen it by now. We can see, even the most primitive telescopes can see them now.
And finally, what do you think of the theory that the world will end in 2012?
Believe what you want to believe, I think is the idea.
In terms of these planets colliding.
That planet won't exist, and to be honest, that planet shouldn't be colliding with us, because if it gets so close that it can collide to us, then we would have seen it by now. It's only a year away.
Yeah.
Okay, and we will know its trajectory. So, no, I think it's not a viable idea.
Okay. So, during our investigation, we've discovered that the theories regarding Planet X and the Anunnaki are still unknown subjects. Will we ever discover the truth, or will it always remain an unknown subject matter? Even with different academic opinions, we still can't come to a conclusion whether Planet X and its inhabitants is a factual and serious subject. But the truth is out there.